sorry, that took me off guard because whatever you heard, I didn't hear it. Just so you know.
So the joys of living with cats.
Oh yeah, didn't hear it.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
For people that are just hearing Lizzie exclaim, our program has a 5-second countdown, and then we usually jump into the podcast. And during that 5-minute countdown, my cats messed with something, and there was a big crash downstairs.
Oh, it's like a big crash. Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's a future Alex problem though.
Yeah, not right now. Welcome to the podcast, guys. That's one way to start it. To kick this off, I did have my typical question for you. Yeah. As I guess not even like as a kid, but in your life, like up until now, was there like a movie or an artist or something that you were like super stuck on, like couldn't let go of, like super obsessive? And I'll give you mine. You can have a second to think about yours. When I was in middle school, I was horribly obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean. Like every night, Pirates of the Caribbean went in my DVD player. I knew that movie front to back. I knew all the behind the scenes. I had posters and bedding, like, and this went on for years too. It was so bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it just the original Pirates of the Caribbean, or did you like all of them?
I loved all of them. I mean, up until I think the third one is kind of where it started to fall apart, because I think that's also just when the movie started to fall apart. It started to just get much like the Fast and the Furious. It became too, I don't know, unrealistic. Like they started like doing these weird like blow ups and themes and storytelling that like just didn't bode well. And so I think after the third one, it just kind of like fell off for me. But the first to the third, oh, it was so bad. Absolutely obsessed. That's I think where my obsession with Johnny Depp started too. Because then like after that, then I saw like a ton of the things that he played in. But Pirates of the Caribbean as like a whole was like I had it all. It was ridiculous.
For me, it was two. One, it was like Lord of the Rings. I watched the extended editions of Lord of the Rings so much as a kid. I would have them on all the time. I would like sit there and build Legos and watch like because the DVDs for the extended editions also came with like behind the scenes making of documentaries, and I used to watch those on repeat. Yeah, very obsessed with those. And then I also, as a kid, watched School of Rock on repeat.
Oh, really?
So most people my age see Miranda Cosgrove as iCarly, and I see her as Summer from School of Rock.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen School of Rock like all the way through. And if I have, it's like been a very long time.
It's pure cinema. Yeah, no, it's I still like, for instance, I went to go see a Fleetwood Mac cover band a few weeks ago, and they played Edge of 17 by Stevie Nicks, and I just thought of Miss Mullins dancing on the table at the bar, and it lives in my head rent free. And in fact, at my brother in his best man speech at my wedding made a School of Rock quote into his speech.
So this is known by like a few people that like you had a problem like with your obsession of School of Rock.
Oh yeah, a lot of people know that I have a problem, but a select few people knew that I had that problem.
That's funny. Okay, I mean, listen, of all the things, like it could be worse, but I feel like those ones like are a bit more tame than I feel like some of like people's like other weird obsessions. Mine was the Pirates of the Caribbean thing was ridiculous. I had a Jack Sparrow pillowcase.
Yeah,
went everywhere with me.
I feel like every kid has that. Like my brother's was Pinocchio.
Really?
He used to watch Pinocchio all the time.
I do feel like my sister, she was big on Pocahontas. And I remember her having like a Pocahontas like blanket. But the thing is, like mine, I just like, I don't know. I had like posters and like it was like a whole nother level. The same thing like you said, like my excuse me. My discs all came with like behind the scenes of like how they made it. And I think that's what got me into wanting to be in like for a very, very long time. I wanted to be a director and I wanted to be in film and stuff. And I think that's kind of what fostered that idea. And now like I still love it. Like I love knowing how they do things behind the scenes, but it was just really bad that I spent hours and hours watching the same movie and the same behind the scenes.
Oh, no judgment here. And you know what? That's also a great movie. Keira Knightley was a bit of an awakening for me as a child, you know.
Oh my God. Orlando Bloom back in the day.
Yeah.
He's aged pretty well, but nothing beats like that would have been like 2005 maybe, like Orlando Bloom. Yeah. And like those
I think that was immediately after Lord of the Rings. So yeah. So like 2005.
Yeah. But on that topic, we'll kind of move into our actual topic. My coffee just went all over my keyboard. Oh my God. I just had a mini heart attack. So going into our topic, we are going to talk about people and actors and actresses that kind of got stuck in their role, whether it be like they had a hard time gathering other. I hear one of the cats now. That's so funny.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm gonna have to let him in, or else he's gonna interrupt the whole episode. Mando, you can come in. Go sit on your chair. All right. He's not going to sit on his chair, but a boy can dream. He's on one. I was out of town all weekend, and I just got back. So
the life of a cat dad. He missed you.
He did.
So whether it was these actors and actresses had a hard time breaking out of these roles and like getting cast in something else, or just us as people, or like us, I say us as in Alex and I, have a hard time seeing them as anything else besides those roles. And I'm gonna start us off really freaking strong, okay?
Okay.
With, I think, basically the entire cast of Twilight. Robert Pattinson, I think he had a stint where there was nothing else. He was Edward for a very long time. I think.
I have you watched a Robert Pattinson movie recently?
No,
because like The Lighthouse or like Good Time. Like I actually think you'd be surprised if you watch Good Time. You're not going to be like, "There's Edward." Like
no, and I think it's not exactly Edward. I think it is a little bit, because when he then got cast in Harry Potter, I was like, oh, this is just Edward Cullen. This is weird. Like this is just, or vice versa. Like it was really hard for me to like. I think Edward definitely overshadowed him playing Cedric Diggory, but I think for a long time he didn't have any big roles until that's what I was saying, was until like recently-ish he did like Batman, and then I think he started to kind of break out of it. But you think of like Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, did you see Love Lies Bleeding?
I didn't.
I doubt it, but because she's in that and she plays a bodybuilder. She's a bodybuilder in that, and it's very different. It's but there was an element of like, wow, Ella Swan is kind of buff now.
Yeah, it's just I feel like
Bella Swan, sorry.
I feel like she had a harder time. I also think like she might have like not been as like, I know she was like, I love acting, but at the same time like wanted to be kind of removed from it. So I think that could also have been like some of her own doing of being like, I don't need to be in every other movie out there. But I feel like that whole cast really kind of got typecast for a little bit of time.
For a while. I'll agree with you on that. Yeah. I didn't really grow up with the movies, so I never really saw any of the cast members as that. I didn't really like. I've never watched the movies beyond the first Twilight movie, and I have a lot of my understanding of the series is through. There's a video essay about Twilight that ContraPoints did a year ago, and that was really my. And when I found out about the whole Jacob imprinting on the baby thing, I went to my wife. I was like, "Why did you like this book?"
It's they play such a big role, and I remember like it's
so weird.
It is, and it's funny because it takes you through a lot of the emotions. So I remember like reading it and seeing it on screen too, of like even Bella like being angry, and then like Jacob kind of like explaining it, and then you kind of like being a bit more like understanding of like how it's about like what's happening and stuff.
Yeah.
And they do kind of in a weird way twist it into this very like sweet, like okay moment, whether you believe it is or not.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just a little weird.
But
A little weird, Stephanie.
had actually, I think I saw the first one. I think I saw the first one, and then I think I actually went back. I read the books, I read all of them, and then followed up with the movies as they came out, kind of thing, which was cool.
Sure.
But other than the rest of them also kind of fell apart. I don't see any of them, but I feel like they also were all secondhand actors in that movie.
What about Anna Kendrick?
I think she was always that until, but she also had a huge breakthrough with
Pitch Perfect or
with
whatever?
Pitch Perfect. Yeah. So I think she had that, and then I feel like she's been in a good bit since then, but they're never, maybe just never as like strong as like Pitch Perfect after that. I feel like it's hard to have multiple like big roles that people see you as.
Well, and then you get people like Scarlett Johansson that get the big role and then immediately are like, okay, I'm going to do a bunch of weird movies now because I have the money and I don't want to just do this whole big Hollywood actor thing, right?
Well, that's kind of like Rob Pattinson. A lot of people had said they're like, him switching to smaller indie movies was probably one of the best things he could have done, because whatever, he's in a movie with Brie Larson now, and from my understanding, it sounds like it's supposed to be really good, and a lot of people have liked seeing him in a kind of smaller like time movie and not so big cast.
Yeah. Well, and the lead actor for Hunger Games, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. She and Emma Stone, I just realized I've never been in a movie together, and they're like starring in their first like film together soon, and I'm very excited for it.
I feel like I've heard them. I feel like I've heard them talk about this in interviews, that they were excited that this would be something that they're going to work together on for the first time.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes you just see, like, because, you know, Brie Larson also has a very, like, iconic role in Captain Marvel. That's like, and also I think there's a lot of people that see her as the girlfriend from Community. That, like, it's cool to see actors who had roles or like that in the past, just like, okay, I want to go do let's just go do small little projects together. I think another actor that'll probably go into the other sort of ensemble that you just can't not see them as their character from that series. Not Robert Pattinson, Daniel Radcliffe from, you know,
I think
that wizard one.
That's gonna be the hardest one. I think that's the most, like, when people say like, if there was an actor who couldn't break through of their like spot or of their role, it would be him.
Well, he really was just like, okay, I'm gonna go do a bunch of weird theater. I'm gonna do Equus on the West End and be naked on stage, and then I'm gonna do Woman in Black, and then I'm gonna go do Merrily We Roll Along. So like, I feel like he has done everything in his power to like really course correct on what he does and what he's associated with. You know.
Yeah.
I really respect that about him.
Yeah, I agree, because I think with everything that's happened with Harry Potter, there was a handful of actors who didn't speak on it, and then there's a handful of actors who were like, I'm gonna just kind of separate myself. And I think, like, obviously for a number, and then there's Tom Felton. Well, even, and I don't particularly want to get super into it, but even Emma Watson, like her, I don't know if anybody listened to her interview, but that was a very interesting interview to listen to her talk about it too. For somebody who I like have respected for her just being such a woman in power, and like she also is somebody who, she didn't really take on a lot of roles after, but her take on J.K. Rowling and how she perceives her is interesting, to say the least. You should just listen to it yourself. Yeah,
that's disappointing
a little bit. So but that's just how I feel about it. But I do think a lot of that cast did get stuck and you don't see them anymore. And I think it's just because like it was one of those movies was hard to break out of, especially when you're talking about kids who started at 12 and are now in their 30s.
Now, when you watch, I'm assuming you've watched Love Actually. When you watch Love Actually, do you think, wow, for such a mean teacher, Snape is a nice boss? Or are you able to separate those two?
I don't know. I think I haven't seen the movie in a while, though. It's been a hot minute. But I do think for me, God, what was Snape's real name?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman and Gary Oldman. I think were two that I had an easier time separating. And I think it was also because I very quickly watched Gary Oldman in The Dark Knight Rises, I think is when he plays. And so I saw him very well as just him, like as Lieutenant Gordon.
Like the Harry Potter films had so many like famous British actors that had such a pedigree that like for the older actors, right? Like Imelda Staunton, Alan Rickman, that like I found the adults in those movies a lot easier to be like, okay, this is separate. Whereas like the kids,
watching somebody grow up like that,
yeah,
it's much like Stranger Things now. Like it's another prime example is Millie Bobby Brown. Like I know she has done a lot. Like I know she's in Enola Holmes and she's done other things with her life outside of Stranger Things. But there's not a time where I don't see her and think
as 11.
The rest of the cast, like I don't personally, I don't ever see them outside except for Sadie Sink. The only reason I have seen her outside of anything else is because she was in Taylor Swift's music video.
The boys have also been in some stuff. Like the one of them was in It. Okay. The guy, one of them like has done a lot of like musical theater stuff.
Okay.
So I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. You probably haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably haven't seen it. But so I'm sorry. I have another tangent.
Okay.
I'm so
listening.
sorry.
No, please.
On the topic of Stranger Things, I've been listening to this album so much.
What album?
Lily Allen, West End Girl, just dropped a couple weeks ago. So she was married to the not the dad, but like the guy who takes in 11 at the start of Stranger Things. I've only watched like the first 2 seasons. What's his like? He's like, I think he's like a park ranger. Hopper, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's married to that guy.
Oh my God! Yeah, this has been a thing.
He can like basically she was doing a show on the West End, or he was doing a show on the West End. I can't remember. And he calls her up. He's like, "We need to open the marriage," and then immediately starts sleeping around with people. And basically, after their marriage, shortly thereafter, fell apart. She went away and in 2 weeks made this album where she is literally dropping receipts in the middle of songs about this breakup,
about him being like break a leg and hopefully you kind of do, so you have to be home with me and shit like that. David Harbour has been going through, we've been talking about this a lot in Discord because it's also been like wild because like that happened. His ex-girlfriend also came out with some stuff, I think. And then Millie Bobby Brown came out and was like, I was being bullied and harassed by him. And then everybody was like, this is just tabloids. But then somebody else came back and was like, no, there really was a like small lawsuit. They got it resolved. And we're assuming that like media was like, hey, you guys need to like appear friendly for the sake of Stranger Things. The show. So yeah, he's been under a lot of heat. Doesn't sound good for him.
The album, pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say it's pretty good.
Okay.
It might be my album of the year.
Wow.
So
okay.
I do think that I listen to a lot of music, but it's a good album.
David Harbour is another one that it is funny though if we're talking about just somebody who is a actor though. Yeah. For the longest time, only saw him as Hopper, and then he did Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just the accent and everything in Thunderbolts that I don't. He's Alexi or whatever. He's like the off-brand like crappy Captain America-ish like situation. Have you seen Thunderbolts? You haven't seen Thunderbolts?
I have not.
Oh my God. Okay.
I know.
He does a very good job for me at least separating. I don't see him and think of Hopper. But he also has a very thick Russian like accent in this. And he's meant to be kind of chunky and overweight and like slow and just like a very old superhero. So that one on the topic of Stranger Things is another interesting one that you watch Stranger Things and then all you think of is David Harbour being Hopper.
Yeah, I only watched the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. I know I'd enjoy it. I just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
And there's just better TV shows out there,
There's a
like
lot.
Pluribus on Apple TV.
Yeah, I saw your message. I'll have to go look at it.
You have to. You have to.
And this is just for also everybody who's listening. I know we talked about this very briefly in the last one. I'm officially in my new house. So sorry if it sounds a little echoey. We're in a room that is literally just a carpet and a piano and my storage unit behind me that has nothing in it. So we're still working through boxes and everything, but I'm officially in my new house.
That's so good.
I love it.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. So
yeah. One from me. Another actor, at least who I can't see as anything else, is Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory. I've seen him in
Sheldon,
a number of
right?
films. He's Sheldon.
Okay.
The guy who plays Sheldon. I've seen him in like he played he was in that Broadway show that I saw, written by like my favorite playwright, and he was playing like the queer older brother who dies of AIDS, and the mother is struggling to accept that her kids are coming out of the closet. And the whole time I'm like, man, I hate that this is happening to Sheldon. You know,
poor Sheldon.
Why is Sheldon's mom so mean? I thought it was just I met him after the show, and I still was like, this is Sheldon. I didn't call him Sheldon, but
I never have personally sat down and watched a lot of Big Bang Theory. But it's not on my like docket at all. But I have seen enough of it that even to me, I see him and I see Sheldon, and I think it's because it seems like their personalities could be potentially kind of similar, where it's just like the voices are kind of similar, the nerdiness seems very similar to me. So like I think that's also hard when like an actor and actress's like real life personality almost aligns with who they feel like they are outside of movies align. It's like, oh,
like
this
Jack
is
Black.
really hard to. Yes, Jack Black is another good one. Yeah, like goofball. Every movie, goofball in real life.
Absolutely. But and you know what, he's like, oh, you're going to play a panda who knows kung fu, who's also into rock and roll. Oh, you're in a romantic comedy where someone travels halfway across the world to escape for the holidays, and they meet you and fall in love, and you make music and are into rock and roll. Hey, you're a substitute teacher who's going to change the lives of dozens of children through rock and roll. It's just every role that Jack Black does is that role.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
So true. But again, like to our point, like then it's like you see him do anything else and you're like, I don't buy this though. Like where's the rock and roll? Like you're missing a key point of this man, obviously.
Absolutely. And I think like so in recent years, one of my dear friends has really indoctrinated me into the Church of Nick Cage movies.
Okay.
I've watched a lot of Nick Cage in the past like probably 4 years of my life.
Okay.
And I think that every Nicolas Cage film is like, it's almost like you go and watch a Nicolas Cage film to be
transported back to National Treasure.
Well, not just transported back to National Treasure, but just like in on the joke of Nick Cage is doing a thing on screen. He knows that it's a joke. He knows he's the meme, but he needs to do these movies to pay for all the junk that he's bought in his life. And his style of acting is so distinct that it almost transcends being bad to being good again.
He's been in so much that I didn't know that. Like, that's crazy how much he's actually been in. But that's literally, you say Nick Cage and I go,
National Treasure.
National Treasure. Like the other one that I do think of a lot is Gone in 60 Seconds though.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing that one a lot as a kid.
He was in a movie called Adaptation that I genuinely think is a good movie and an actual good acting performance by him, because he plays his twin. So he's on screen acting with himself for a good chunk of the movie. And you completely forget that. And you just really invest into these two brothers. Okay. Even though it's just Nick Cage acting with himself.
Listen, hot take. I think National Treasure is a good movie.
National Treasure is a national treasure.
It's interesting. I love watching it. Every time if it comes on the TV, I'll sit down and not like sit and watch it, but I'll like be interested for a little bit.
Da Vinci Code, eat your heart out. You don't have a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence. National Treasure does. I actually framed an entire quest line in my D&D campaign around National Treasure. and I made them like they go to a ball and steal a document because there's a map to a dungeon on the back of that document.
Okay, that's kind of sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a
And
D&D-er, but that's pretty dope.
And it was like for someone's personal quest, and then this faction that wanted to like kill them was also there, also trying to steal the document, but also working as like servers.
Okay.
So it was very much it was that scene from National Treasure into a D&D quest.
This has nothing to do actually do with National Treasure, but it's also kind of wild that people the other day, last week or the week before, somebody got into the Louvre and stole a bunch of shit. Yeah, that's wild.
My mom was there the day before.
Really?
Yeah, so my mom and my sister were some of the last people to see the crown jewels.
That's insane. The other crazy thing is, this is a side tangent, we love it, is they just came out and said like, yeah, the password for like some of the security things
the Louvre
was the Louvre, and it hasn't been changed since like 2010 or something. Like, whose 80-year-old grandpa is running their security system, guys?
And here's my hot take about it. I think if these crown jewels show up in like in the National Museum in London or in the Guggenheim or in the Met or something like that, I think it's fair game. Because if one museum steals from another museum,
you think this is like insider trading? Somebody went in was like, we're going to take this for my museum.
No, I just think so much of the contents of a museum is already stolen from other cultures.
It is true. Yeah.
That like. If one museum steals from another museum, that is just how the business should work. And I would love for there to be a world where all of these museums just have a network of spies and thieves trying to steal from each other all the time.
To see who has the best museum, basically.
Yeah. Or just like, and just who can have the artifacts. It's like a never-ending game of capture the flag with like 50 teams.
With like millions of dollars, though.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it has to make it into the museum for it to like you have to sneak it from one museum to another. And if you get caught, you're arrested back. And it goes back. Yeah. But that's how I think it should work. That's how I think museums should work. I think that will make the world a better place, or at least a more interesting place. It'd
definitely be more interesting. But yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, let me see which one. Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit, and let's go back
to our topic.
Middle school again, and High School Musical. Okay, because again, I'm sorry, but Zac Efron will always be Troy Bolton.
Really?
Yeah, I can't see him as anybody else, and I think this one's more of a personal one. But
I'm trying to think of what other movie. Like, I guess he did 21 Jump Street, right? That was him. I'm trying to think of what other Zac Efron movies I've watched.
Exactly. I think that you're proving my point here.
I've definitely seen something.
He was in Baywatch.
No.
He was in The Greatest Showman, I guess. He was in 17 again. I do remember that one. He just is a lot of like, nothing has been as big as, and again, like I said earlier,
except for maybe Greatest Showman. Greatest Showman was also pretty big.
Yeah, but again, I think you say really Greatest Showman, you think of what's his face, not Zac Efron.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. So I think, like I said earlier, like it's hard to have two multiple like major roles that people like. You say like Scarlett Johansson, you think of Black Widow, like. I think it's hard for a lot of these actors to have like multiple big ones. I think the closest thing, might have been.
What about Ian McKellen? He played Magneto and Gandalf.
Okay, but see, I feel like when you're that makeuped up, nobody knows the difference. You don't see him as often. I mean, you do, but I feel like it's different. But I don't know. For me, Zac Efron will always be. He was he for a little bit. I saw him in Hairspray, and I remembered him from Hairspray. But
he was in Hairspray. That was his best role.
Yeah, that one was really good. I remember going into. I'm not much of like a musical person, but my friend went to go see it for her birthday, and like that was her birthday party. It's like we were all going to the movies to go see it, and I remember being like. And then we left, and I was like, "That was actually really good." Even at like I would have been, I don't know, 13.
I know. I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I hate musicals, and then they like go to one and they're like, that was actually kind of fun. I know
Maybe
so many
a
that are
real
like that.
musical, but like TV show musicals and movie musicals make me want to gouge my ears
I,
out.
I have a friend who he's like, I hate musicals. I'm not a musical guy. And then we went to go see Rocky Horror Show over Halloween, and we left, and he was like, yeah, it was pretty fun. I was like, yeah, it was pretty fun. And so there's just I think there's a lot of people, understandably, that like see sort of like very stereotypical like bad high school musicals in high school and think like this is what they're like.
Yeah, that is true.
Like,
That is true.
yeah,
I'm gonna double down real quick because these
you're gonna
go
double down.
very well together. Being like old
Yeah,
school and the time framing is Hannah Montana versus
yeah.
Miley Cyrus. Because one, I mean, it's different for her because, for granted, Miley Cyrus
Mhm.
then turned into a music career instead of her doing Disney Channel. I think a lot of Disney Channel kids just have a hard time breaking out of their roles. Like once
Yeah.
you get caught by Disney, I think it's a hard thing to then break out of because one, Disney wants to own you, literally.
Yes.
But then also that's how everybody sees you, and then you just are forever this child star.
And I think there's also just like because like I hate to use this word in context of Disney, especially in light of all the Nickelodeon stuff. But like they kind of groom their talent or actors or to perform in a certain way.
Yep.
And it's very, I don't know if you've ever seen like TikTok comparisons of like Olivia Rodrigo and like Sabrina Carpenter dancing and like some of the dance moves that they do, like the Disney knees where they have like that move and
the
stuff.
Disney
And
knees
it's
like Demi Lovato in
yeah,
Camp
everyone
Rock,
does it.
like
And I think there's an element of like specifically with like people that were child stars for Disney is like the way that they learned about how to operate in the industry and what they learned about the industry and the people that they met and who they surrounded themselves with are all the same people that they met through Camp Rock or Wizards of Waverly Place or what have you, right? Like it's a dangerous slope.
I think Disney stars that moved out and moved on to music did well. I think it was really hard to do anything else. Like I think Miley Cyrus, she had like The Notebook, and that was huge. And I think that helped maybe a little bit of the move
She
out.
was in The Notebook?
Not The Notebook. Sorry. Not the no.
I was like, that's Rachel McAdams.
No, not The Notebook. The last song. Sorry. The beach, music.
No, you can't compare The Notebook with the last song.
I think the last song helped her a lot because it kind of helped her bridge that gap out of Disney. But then I think her like doing the whole music thing was obviously like the big like takeaway, because now she's definitely more known for her music than, I mean, those of us who grew up with her as Hannah Montana obviously look at her and go, "Oh, Miley," or "Oh, Hannah Montana," But I think that one was different. I also did not know for the longest time because Sabrina Carpenter on Disney was past my time on Disney.
Yeah, same.
So I didn't know until I would say semi recently that she was on a TV show, and I had absolutely zero idea. And I was like, wow, that's one that kind of went under the radar because, I mean, you look at Miley Cyrus got so much hate for growing up and doing adult music, but friggin'
look at the reaction to Man's Best Friend though.
Yeah,
she also got a lot of hate.
She did, but not from Disney kids, though.
No,
not from the kids who grew up like Hannah Montana. It was vastly different. Yeah, Man's Best Friend it was ridiculous. I was like, y'all are ridiculous, but teach their own.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't even get
but yeah, so I think Miley Cyrus will forever live somewhat as Hannah Montana in my heart, though. If she would just do a Hannah Montana, like somewhat of a like go out and do like a concert.
I thought they were going to do that.
I don't know if it was ever really confirmed, but I would spend so much money to go see that.
I feel like I saw something about a Hannah Montana. I feel like I see one about a Hannah Montana revival every like 3 years.
I think that's just people being hopeful.
Yeah.
That's wishful thinking.
Speaking of things that actually kind of did get a revival, The Office. Because I feel like there's a lot of people from The Office that you only see as people from The Office. Partially because a lot of the minor characters are actually just named after their real life actor, right?
Yeah.
Like Creed Bratton is played by Creed Bratton.
Yep.
And Oscar Martinez, I believe the actor's name is also Oscar Martinez. And Angela is played by a woman named Angela. So I feel like a lot of actors from there, right? Like whenever I see like Rainn Wilson in a movie, like he was in, was it Godzilla recently? I'm just like, what's Dwight doing now?
You should be on the Beat Farm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think who plays Michael? Oh my gosh,
Michael Scott, played by
wow, we're bad.
Steve Carell.
Thank you. I see Steve Carell is funky because that one was hard for me to see him outside of anything else besides Michael, but then he did the morning show on Apple TV. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but something kind of wild happens on that one that made me feel bad about that character and Michael Scott and everything. It tainted all of his roles for me because I was like, oh, I don't see you as Michael anymore. I see you as this bad person. It was hard for me.
Oh, I thought you meant, okay, if log off for 30 seconds here if you really care about spoilers for the morning show. I thought you meant when he dies.
Oh, no. The assault.
Okay, yeah, that, okay.
That moment, it really did taint a lot of what I see him as. But now it is funny though, because I do, now that he died in the show, in the Apple TV show. But now I do, anytime I see him, like he's done like random appearances at like colleges and stuff. And I'm like, look at Michael. Or I think of Gru. We want to steal the moon. So I don't know. That one's hard for me. I go back and forth about whether or not all I see him is Michael or not.
I don't know. I think Steve Carell has done so much iconic stuff. Like he was also an Anchorman.
That's true. And the 30-year-old virgin.
Yep. 40-year-old virgin, but yep.
Whatever it is.
So yeah, for me, Steve Carell is not someone, but there's a lot of folks from The Office that I would say are like, I can't see them outside of these roles.
John Krasinski.
So have you seen A Quiet Place?
Yeah, that's probably the one scary-ish movie that I really, really loved. Like I was super excited when the second one came out. But
now it's like there's like a before The Quiet Place, and there's just like so much.
Yeah, they did do like a prequel of like the day that it started kind of thing, like what happened. And he's hard because I did see him in there, and kind of like you said with Rainn Wilson, like I'm like, what are you doing here, Jim? Go back to the office, you know? So that one's hard. It's kind of like, you said you watched The Paper, which I guess Oscar is just Oscar in The Paper.
He is just Oscar.
So it doesn't, I guess there isn't like a big difference there.
He's the same character, right?
Yeah, he's the same character. So I guess if you see him as Oscar, that's right on. But yeah, John Krasinski is kind of a hard one for me.
Absolutely. And it's sad Jenna
Fisher,
who played who played Pam. Like she hasn't really done much outside The Office, and I thought she was such a good actor on that show, and it made me so sad that like I don't really see her and stuff anymore.
Well, I don't know if you know this, because I did not know this, and I don't think she's made it known until recently that she's been very sick. I can't remember if she had cancer. I'd have to look it up, so sorry if that's not the right one, but she's been very, very sick. But they also did the podcast too. So I like wonder how many of these actors or actresses, like they get done with these big roles and then they're like, you know what? That was enough for me. I would rather go do something else than take on other roles. Like it makes me wonder, like if you get stuck in a role like that where it's years and years and years with the same people and the same cast playing the same character, at the end of it, how many of them go, I think I got my fill. Maybe I want to try something else now, you know?
I mean, Rupert Grint opened an ice cream truck.
Did he really?
That's what he did after playing Ron Weasley. He's like, I'm going to open an ice cream truck.
I mean, I guess again, yeah, like you probably just want to separate yourself a little bit because you're like, this is, you know, that's all you're known for at that point. So you probably want to like be like, okay, let me try to be. He, however, was in a show that I watched on Apple TV.
Oh, what show?
Oh God, it was about was it called I don't think it's called The Nanny. It was a kind of creepy, weird show. And he was like a second-hand character, basically. He was like a brother to the main character.
Okay.
And at first I was like, oh, it's Ron, but he did a good job at separating himself. But again, I think it's because also he was just older. He had that time to kind of evolve and grow and age, that I think that's helped him not feel so much of the same person. But I do want to hit on one more like big one, and we can, depending on time, we can kind of like go through some of the other ones that we have on here. But how many of the MCU characters do you have a hard time seeing outside? Because you put Chris Evans as Captain America, and I do
That might be
agree
it.
with that one. I agree with, because there's so many movies where he talks in different movies. So I saw the one with him and Pedro Pascal, The Materialist.
Yep.
And I thought it was. Have we talked about this? Did I mention this last time that I watched it?
No, and we haven't done the catch up for this episode either.
Okay, so
But
I did watch it a few weeks ago, and uh, it was good, not great. It is the best word I can describe, is very monotone. The entire movie is like that. But there was so much in that movie that I'm like Cap has a very distinct voice, and if Chris Evans just ever so slightly changes his voice into there, I get transported, and I'm like, oh, it's Captain America.
yeah.
And then he was also in, was it Knives Out? He was in one of those like
Or
murder
was it Argyle?
mystery. That's not the one that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But like again, in those ones too, like I do see just Captain America. But I think you're right on I don't know, Scarlett Johansson's kind of hard because I do see Black Widow.
See, I've seen Scarlett Johansson so much since that it's just like, okay, you know, she's because I feel like a lot of the actors in the MCU, unlike some of the other franchises, MCU typically wanted to hire like tried and tested actors, right? So like Robert Downey Jr. had done a bunch of stuff before Iron Man, and then like kind of his career had a downfall, and then they got him for cheap, right? Same with that Anthony Mackie, same with ScarJo, that has now had quite the career since. That like Chris Evans, I think, is the only one for me. You know, Chris Pratt, like, or not Chris Evans. Yeah, Chris Evans, but Chris Pratt, like he had done Parks and Rec. Chris Hemsworth, like, has done a bunch of stuff. I don't really see him as Thor. Maybe it's also the wig, right? Like, there's not a lot of folks that like I only can see as their character. And I think Chris Evans is unfortunately maybe the only one from the MCU.
I think if it wasn't for the fact that Tom Holland was in a Spider-Man costume all the time, I think he would be a hard one for me. But because he's always in the costume, you don't see him as much outside of it. I think he kind of gets a pass for that because
I see him as Mr. Zendaya. Right.
She was another Disney star that I forget was a Disney star that kind of broke out of that.
Disney star?
Yeah, she was she had a show on Disney, I'm pretty sure. And then she had like a small, I mean, did you ever listen to her music?
No.
What? Fucking, she had bop after bop. She had a few good songs that I remember listening to as a kid that I thought were so good.
See, she just like strikes me as someone who just was famous because they're famous. So I never really thought about like how did they get there. I was just like, yeah, she's Zendaya. She has one name, so she has to be famous.
I'm trying to think of what it was that she was in. It is funny when you look her up. It says Ann Singer. But she was in Dune, which I see her a lot. Like when I see her, I do think of Dune, and in Euphoria, which I never watched. But now I think it's too far gone that I've seen too much of it that on TikTok that I don't need to go rewatch it. But let's see. She was, her and Bella Thorne, I think, were friends for a little bit because I think they might have been on the same show. Because there's a shit ton of Bella Thorne and Zendaya.
Anything newer than like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, I probably didn't watch from Disney.
Oh, it was called Shake It Up. That's the one that I know her from. She was on, and it was a Disney 2010 to 2013. So very much like that's what I remember her from. But yeah, she has a song called Replay. It was so good. I loved that song. It was great.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy.
But for the sake of time, we'll stop there. We'll put in some honorable mentions as like Max Greenfield. All I can see Schmidt is Schmidt from New Girl.
Yeah.
I think Henry Cavill, until he was The Witcher, all I could see him was from The Tudors. If anybody watched The Tudors.
But what about Superman? He was Superman.
He was. I guess it's because I also never watched Superman though.
Disappointing.
So yeah. And then I think we got Jeff Goldblum is the only one that you put on there that we didn't really talk about. That
Jeff Goldblum is in the same category as Nick Cage and Jack Black for me. That like he's just being Jeff Goldblum, assuming a character, but really you're watching for Jeff Goldblum.
Isn't Jeff Goldblum?
He was in Thor Ragnarok.
I was gonna say it was in Ragnarok. Yeah, okay.
But he was just Jeff Goldblum.
That's kind of what I agree. That is funny. So yeah, those are kind of the quick ones that we came up with, and I did Google some of these because I was like, I need like a little bit of help thinking of some of these, but it's just very interesting to think of like how many of these kids got stuck in their role. I think that's the hard ones, is the kids that we got to watch grow up that are the hardest to then evolve into basically adults and just other movie stars, you know.
Them poor kids.
Mm-hmm. We'll do kind of a rapid fire. How have you been? What have you been watching? Go ahead.
So first, I saw Pluribus. The first 2 episodes came out on Apple TV.
What is this about? You have like a short.
People were so basically, people received a signal from outer space that was basically was a DNA sequence.
Mm-hmm.
They sequenced the DNA and made a alien virus that infected almost everyone in the world to be super nice and helpful, and they're all part of this one big collective consciousness.
Okay.
Except for 11 people.
Oh, and I keep seeing the page for this on Apple TV. Okay, I know at least what it looks like now. Okay.
And it's made by the same people who made Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Like, it's really high quality TV, really good writing, really interesting plot and premise. Like, you should watch it.
Okay. No, we're always looking for new shows, so
Apple TV don't miss. And I would put this.
I will die on that hill.
I will put this up there with some of any of the best shows from Apple TV, including my sweet baby boy Severance. Okay. And then besides that, I did watch a movie. I've definitely talked about this director a million times before. My favorite director, Yorgos Lanthimos, just put out a new movie called Begonia, starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons.
Okay.
Emma Stone's playing a CEO and she gets kidnapped by the character Jesse Plemons. Kind of a theme here because he thinks that she's an alien.
Oh, okay.
And it's sort of
Ow, sorry.
It's a movie where she is in his basement and he's trying to get her to confess to being an alien, and that's all I can say before I start spoiling things. But it is maybe the only Yorgos Lanthimos movie that I can recommend to people that don't like weird movies. Like, it was his least weird movie.
I feel like I am a repeat. Like, I listen to one podcast. I listen to the Bobby Bones Show.
Bobby Bones.
Every day. That's the only podcast I listen to. And I'm pretty sure they were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
And I do take your suggestions very seriously because I think you have an understanding of things that I like versus that I don't. But I also take their suggestions very seriously because there's not been a lot of things that they've talked about that Daniel and I try and we don't agree with them on. And I'm pretty sure they were talking about how much they liked it as well. So
it's not so, like, because usually Yorgos Lanthimos movies are jarring enough that, like, if you're not kind of into like more absurdist type stuff, you're like, okay, this is going to be inaccessible. Mm-hmm. But like, this is a very accessible movie. It does have a moment. It does have a certified Yorgos Lanthimos plot twist kind of in it. but I can't really talk about it
Okay, no.
beyond.
That's okay.
It's a worthwhile watch as long as you're okay with, some graphic images.
Yeah. Where is it?
It's in theaters right now, but it'll come out.
Okay.
It'll come out to streaming at some point.
Okay. Nice. Gaming? You've been doing much gaming?
I haven't. I finished Dragon Quest 3.
Okay.
I've been doing some tabletop gaming.
Nice.
I just spent a weekend. My friend and I are learning to play Warhammer.
Oh, okay.
So I drove 4 hours to go learn to play Warhammer with my friend. He lives 4 hours away, so
was it just you, or did Jess go with you?
No, Jess is on a girls' weekend with
fun.
his girlfriend, so we met up.
Okay.
We're like, girls are out of town, let's go.
Nice. That's fun.
So yeah, but no, the next game I'm going to play is Expedition 33. I just needed this. I needed to paint enough Warhammer to play this weekend, and now I can maybe game some before the end of the year.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let me know when you actually finish the game.
I will.
And I'll believe you.
I will. Okay.
I feel like it's because Kelly said it was good, and now you're like, okay.
No, I've been saying all year. I would say my office was too hot over the summer to play a computer game.
Cool now.
It is cool now. It is cold even.
Freaking.
I saw my first.
Now.
I saw snow yesterday for the first time.
No, I'm not ready for that. I'm ready for fall. I'm not ready for winter. Like it being like.
I mean, where you are, winter's not the same.
I don't care. If there's snow, I have zero interest of going outside. Sure. But it is cooling down here too. So, but gaming for me I've also been moving. So there's been that. Yeah. So we haven't done a lot of anything, but I am on I just rotate old games, guys. Okay. Until I find something that I really want to play. I'm in a heavy rotation of Fortnite right now. Surprisingly, I never thought I would be as wanting to play Fortnite as much as I did like 3 years ago. But I have been playing Fortnite most nights because I also just don't have a game that I want to play right now. Like I don't really care to play the new Pokemon game. Like I've just been enjoying watching other people play. I also don't want to spend the money on it right now. So there just hasn't been anything that has been drawing my attention that I've been wanting to play. But then again, like I said, we're still settling into this house, so it's very different. We did recently watch Task, which is on Hulu and has Mark Ruffalo in it. Okay.
Oh, fun.
Kind of similarly, I was a little worried that all I was going to see is Hulk, but I don't. I see him. Highly suggest. Possibly one of the better shows I think we've seen in the past few years. If you don't know anything about it, he's a agent for like the FBI CIA situation. He gets like 3 kids that were kind of like the meh kids, like the dropouts almost of these different situations, and it's all about these drug raids that are going on. So good, like literally we flew through it. So highly suggest Task. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I literally, like I said, there's been nothing going on because moving really dictates your life for quite some time when you don't have a computer and your TV is sitting on the floor.
Oh no.
Our TV in our living room is set up, but none of the other ones have been moved yet. So
sure.
But yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We thought we'd switch it up a little bit. And we talked about this in the last episode, actually. We very quickly was like, oh, that would be a fun one to talk about. And we're like, why not? We'll do this next time. But we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Of course, like always, find us, the Still Loading Podcast, on Apple and Instagram, apparently. I mean, yes, but not to listen to it. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Yeah, wherever you listen to podcasts, and we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.